I just woke up from my Sunday afternoon nap. I was looking for wildlife in my backyard. I was texting with a friend. Why is my sister calling me when she knows I'm taking a nap? What? No. Our brother wouldn't do that. We never saw it coming. Jeff loved sports. He loved Ohio sports, especially the Cleveland Indians. He still volunteered for our high school football team. He had just started a new job. We celebrated his 50th birthday 6 weeks earlier. Telling Mom and Dad was the hardest thing we have ever had to do. On Tuesday, a friend called me and asked how writing his eulogy was going. I told him I only had the first line, and he asked me what it said. Are you ready? Fuck you, asshole. It was Angry Day, and it was a work in progress. The next day, a friend put this on Facebook. He meant well. But I remember looking at it and going around going, no, 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 no. My brother didn't show any of those signs. My brother, he had family and friends. He still hung out with a huge group of friends from high school. He had people who loved him and cared about him, people he could talk to. Why wouldn't he just talk to someone? Well, that wasn't who he was. When something like this happens, you learn about things that you've never wanted to learn about. There's an organization called the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention that holds memory walks. 1 month after Jeff's funeral, we went to the walk at our high school football stadium where Jeff had volunteered. It's both painful and comforting to be surrounded by hundreds of people who know exactly what you're going through. The next spring, an amazing group of our friends raised almost $3,000 for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. But the thing is, I would give that much and so much more not to be connected to this group. I would also give that much and more to not know that my brother is a statistic. Let that sink in. Think about a man that you know who is between the ages of 45 and 60. The first time I saw this image, I began to understand the pain I was feeling. But my sister Julie pointed out that this also must have been how Jeff was feeling. I knew that I needed to deal with my grief, so I did the only natural thing. I took a stand-up comedy class. Now, I'm not sure what a grieving 49-year-old single female minister midlife crisis looks like, but this could be it. And I tell you, nothing pushes grief aside like an absolute gripping fear of failure, and it's terrifying. Comedy challenged me. It helped me remember that life has humor to balance the pain, and that laughter is healing. But I knew I also needed to use my comedy to honor Jeff. And by honor, I mean make fun of him a little bit. Or a lot, actually.
Oh,
don't say aw. Oh, sure, he looks cute, but he wasn't. He was mean. Sure, I'm his only little sister, but this is the face of a brother who convinced me that shortening was the same as frosting and had me eat a big spoonful. And this is the face of a brother who made doing dishes a little more miserable. We didn't have a dishwasher. Jeff washed and I dried. He thought it was funny to rinse the metal pans in scalding hot water so that when I would pick them up, I would burn my hands. What a sweetheart, you know, even at 4. And this is the face of a brother who one time when we were physically fighting, held me down, and when I opened my mouth to scream, he touched a 9-volt battery to my braces. I'm telling you, he's hateful. And this is the face of a brother who, during during a Sunday school class, we were asked to share our favorite Bible verse. How innocent enough. But Jeff said his favorite Bible verse was Deuteronomy 23:12. I have since memorized it. I don't even know where he found it originally. But it says, "And you shall go outside the camp and dig a hole and relieve yourself there." And in case you think I'm in any way exaggerating about just how mean he was to me, I have a letter that Jeff wrote while he was in basic training. He enclosed it with a package that had his military picture and some other items in it. In the last part of the letter he wrote, "When we're out in the field, they bring us chow called K rations. Everything is cold and dry. Most of it tastes real bad. I enclosed some things they give us. Dad can have the coffee, Mom can have the ketchup, and give Jill the toilet paper because we all know she's a little shit." But Jeff was a funny guy. On Father's Day of 2015, he was teaching our nephew how to grill with this advice: keep it hot, keep it clean, keep it lubricated. I think he was talking about grilling, I don't know. And it wasn't just me that Jeff tormented. If the neighborhood kids' toys ended up in his yard, he would keep them. He was that guy. And he loved harassing the crows. Yes, you heard me correctly, crows. Every year as he was cooking our Thanksgiving turkey, he would get out his crow call, and he would get the crows all riled up, circling overhead, squawking like crazy. Now every time we hear a crow, we think of Jeff.